Tarshish. And it was Tarsus that served as the second seat of academia of the Greek culture, only being surpassed by Athens. It was Tarsus that could later boast of such men who passed within her academic walls, such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Demosthenes, Sophocles, as well as Empedocles, as well as others. This was the walls of academia of which he had scaled. Not only was he a Jew, not only was he educated Greekly, but he was a Roman citizenship. And Rome at that time was the world power. Not only that, but he was also a Pharisee who had been trained in the school of Gamaliel. Not only was he a Pharisee, but he also was of the Sanhedrin tribe. And no man under 30 could be in the Sanhedrin. But evidently Paul cracked that barrier. Are you praying? So Paul could boast of all of that in his past. And notice that he did say, I count it all as dung for the excellency in knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ. Paul didn't come into a hole or into a synthesis until Jesus came in and balanced him out. Are you praying? Allow me to move swiftly. I want to read verse 11a, which would give credence to our second point. Notice that Paul writes, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. What persecutions I endured. And that leads me to my second point. As Christians, we must learn that the Christ within us allows us to deal with the crises round about us. Are you praying? The Christ within us allows us to deal with the crises round about us. Don't think that you have a handle on everything. Don't think that your attributes and your characteristics, your drives and your desires, don't think that your habits, don't think that your reactions and your responses, don't think that your tendencies and proclivities are that which carried you over. Am I right? As Christians, God allows us to have crisis come into our lives, especially when there are capricious winds and they are not blowing against you, but they are blowing coming your way. And instead of those capricious winds pushing you out. Those capricious winds will suck you into a vacuum. And it seems like you have nowhere. But I'm determined that is nobody but the Lord that can deliver us through it all. Last point I want to make is in verse 11b, or the continuation of that verse. Notice that Paul starts out with a conjunction. He says, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. And I know this may sound radical, but my third point is that we limit God with the these when he really is the God of the them. Are you praying? Now that may sound sort of foolish, but let me break it down to you. Because that in which Paul enumerates persecutions, afflictions which came unto him at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Now he just named three, and the three are the these. But there were some thems that God had delivered Paul from. Now, the thems were not as significant as the these. I wish I had somebody. Are you praying? They didn't seem as important at the time. At the time, they slipped up under the radar, but they were part of the them. Aren't you glad that we all could say that we are part of the them and not the these? When we read St. John 1:11, it says, but Jesus came unto his own. That's the these. But his own received him not. But I also get great consolation. For God so loved the world. The world was not just the these, but it was the them. And that's where I come in. I come in as a testimony that through it all, God delivered me. Am I right about it? How many of us can boast even on today through it all? Nobody but the Lord delivered us. Don't think that you are the only one who had to go through it all.